Here we go. This is the one, right? Okay. Yeah, every Star Wars game on PS1 reviewed by YungJunko. Never watched any of their stuff, so this will be a first. I don't know what to expect. So, let's hop on into it. You're gonna get married in Final Fantasy eventually? Of course you are. Am I invited?
What a piece of junk!
Watch your mouth, kid. You're looking at the console.
So you're saying I'm invited as long as I'm not poor. Got it. Got it, Phoenix.
That outsold Nintendo 64 worldwide with a ratio of 3 units to 1, doubled as a CD player, dual shock with a lightly tuned analog stick, and you bet your butt this baby's got Crash Bandicoot. Right, Shui?
Oh, Crash Bandicoot, sick!
Yes, what are we watching right now?
Bandicoot myself. Come on, Luke, let's go get some Wumpa fruit. You said it, R2. Thank the maker, we're done with those dreadful Muppets.
Oh my god. I always wanted one of those, by the way, but I never had one for any console where they would always have, like, they would eventually come out with, like, a little screen you can attach to your console. I never got any one of them. And I always wanted one. You had a GameCube one? Damn, Phoenix.
Holiday 1996, we got our first
Phoenix
Star
with
Wars
the
release on the good
GameCube
old PS1
swag
with
over
Dark
here.
Forces, once being the only console port of this beloved PC first-person shooter. Sure, the N64 may have been getting a brand new Star Wars adventure hailed as its bridging chapter of the saga with Shadows of the Empire, which, yeah, looked incredible with its opening Battle of Hoth level and big beefy Dash Rendar, but make no mistake, it still was a pretty big flex for the PlayStation to be the console home to Dark Forces. And I think while this wasn't a Star Wars game built from the ground up for the PS1, the PlayStation was able to deliver a far more cinematic story than N64 was with Shadows. And for fans, this title quickly became a pretty prolific game, as it marked the legendary beginnings of a little Star Wars character named Kyle. Yeah, you thought Dash was beefy? Nah, Kyle Katarn's first appearance has him built like a double-stuffed gonk droid. You're basically going on Star Wars Black Ops 2 missions for the Rebellion, with the first level having you waltz into an Imperial base to steal DVD copy of Rogue
Kyle's
One.
Star Wars movie?
Easy. Now I get to my ship.
That's right off the bat, you steal the Death Star plans like it's nothing, speeding around these levels like Kyle was carrying an entire hyperdrive under that big coat. And there's just something still so quaint and satisfying about mowing down these little pixelated stormtroopers here. Even to this day, it still plays great, and Dark Forces earned quite a bit of a reputation as a very good Star Wars skin Doom clone. But
I think one of the main reasons I wanted one of them was for the rare times I would actually be able to take my console somewhere. And I was never sure if I'd, have a TV to plug my shit into. But also, I think the main reason I wanted one was so I could watch TV while playing a game. Because back in the day, you couldn't have both. Unless you were a rich bitch and had more than one TV in your room. Okay.
More than enough here in terms of movement to expand upon that classic formula. Things like being able to, aim vertically and jumping through these platforming sections. It can be a very fast-paced shooter, and for these large sprawling levels, that's a damn good thing. The chaos of it all just perfectly mirrors watching Han, Luke, and Leia stumble their way around the Death Star. Except here you're a gonk cake carrying 1,000,000 thermal detonators.
Oh god, that hurt my ears.
I know a lot of these PlayStation ports of PC games from this era can be pretty hit or miss, but Dark Forces on PS1 is definitely a solid one. It's not a bad way to play it at all if for some reason your PC can't run this game from 1995. You do have to deal with some dips in the frame rate, and a lot of these stormtroopers do turn into a single pixel at a distance.
Hey! Help! Please help!
What?
And I did find some of those
someone hand me my
first-person platforming
binoculars
sections to be just a little nauseating with the choppy frame rate. I'm Unlike
Fucking
these older
hell, Yomi,
FPS
why?
games can be a little daunting with some of the more labyrinthian level design, and most of the missions start with you getting, dropped off, absolutely raising hell inside of some Imperial facility
Civi
until you
covered
find
some
a
of these
Star
games.
War
I'm not
hologram,
surprised.
and then running back to where you started and waiting for Kyle's mom to pick you up. Oh, it's just like my childhood. It can be pretty grueling fighting for your life and crawling your way back to where you started, but quickly you find the level design here is really solid, and has plenty of alternate routes, secret paths, and details to help make things easier, like unlocking a shortcut to make your trip back way faster. Or things like on your first run through of a level, you gotta mow your way through waves of stormtroopers until you find this code to unlock this door. And let's say you die because Misa clumsy, you memorize the code and you can just waltz through, effectively cutting the level in half. Ideas like that are pretty neat, and even through the chaos of all these shootouts and these large winding levels, I found there were very few times I surprisingly got lost. Dark Forces does a pretty good job of shuffling you to where
I
you
had
need
some
to go. Make
handhelds
no
growing up as
mistake,
well.
It's absolutely hell if you're wrong, but most of the time if you feel, don't think, concentrate on the moment, and use your instincts and thermal detonators, the level design starts to unravel pretty naturally. As a Star Wars fan too, of course, there's plenty to admire about Dark Forces. Expect
Yomi,
to
quit
run into a lot of
complaining about
familiar
getting
Star
gifted
Wars
subs
iconography,
from
even
other
some
people you're
hidden
not even in the
cameos.
stream
Oh my
of.
god, it's Aunt Beru. You're effectively doing what Dak never had
So
the chance
rude.
to. Take on the Empire yourself. Slowly uncovering the Empire's development of the secret Dark Trooper project.
Fucking
man,
Hook,
I
what
wish
the
I played
hell?
this one as a kid. Ever since they showed up in Battlefront, I was obsessed with the Dark Trooper. What were they? Where did they come from? Did I somehow miss them in one of the movies? Tell us. Tell us now, Wikipedia. Seeing their beginnings
Yeah,
here
I
was
lost
really
a lot
special
of,
treat for me, and it also helped that the
I lost a lot of my games and stuff from growing up. Like, I lost a lot from when we moved a couple of times, and also I'm pretty sure some of my stuff got fucking stolen. And my main suspects were family members or those dating family members. I would fucking kill them if I ever found out.
moment-to-moment
Murder.
gunplay was really fun. Uncovering a new
Murder.
weapon and slaughtering all these stormtroopers and sprinting away just to find yourself another madhouse of enemies was really intense, with each level somehow
Yeah, to be
getting
fair,
even more
Yomi, I think
hectic.
the
And by
gift
the end of
subbing
it all, let me
thing
tell you, my
is
man
kind of like
Kyle has been
random
through it,
as hell.
stealing the Death Star plans, fighting Dark Troopers, and crawling through endless tunnels of Palpatine's poodoo. If there's anything I learned from my years gaming, it's
Not
that
the
there's always someone
poodoo.
hidden behind the chocolate waterfall.
Yeah, that's
It's PS1 Watto. Would you believe,
Nice,
though, released on the
nice.
same day as Dark Forces, we got another PlayStation port of a PC title, Rebel Assault 2, The Hidden Empire. And at a glance, it was a pretty monumental achievement to have a game like this ported
Alright,
to PS1. Given that a large amount of the game is designed around full motion video, and would you look at that, live action cutscenes. Whereas N64 had to tell Shadow of the Empire's story through a slideshow of
Wow,
still images, the
Yuko.
PS1 had
Betrayal.
the capability to have a clone of David Schwimmer's
I would
scream in
fucking
agony.
lose it.
That was great, David. Just a little faster,
Fucking
more
blow.
intense. You had these cutscenes complete with some of the
You want
actual
that grenade
props
in
used
your
during the
launcher?
production of the original trilogy. And God, are these just so lovably cheesy. You really have to admire the effort they put into these scenes. Shot entirely in front of a blue screen background, it kind of creates the sense you're unearthing a cute little Star Wars fan film.
I gotta talk quick because I'm in outer space, there's no air here, and I'm dodging these bullets that are coming at me. This isn't really happening. I'm being superimposed on a digital background. This is one of the miracles of modern technology and entertainment. Boy, did you
A
see that? I'm almost
miracle
hitting
of
you in the head. Look,
modern
actually
technology.
just a blue screen, so I'm just sitting here in a room. But I snap my fingers and I'm back in outer space again. Cool. So essentially what you've done here, gentlemen, is to create an entire digital background. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what we've done. It saves a lot of time from having to build all these sets, saves a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I know majority of it, especially nowadays, is considered cheesy, but the real life people acting out the cutscenes in the older games still has a certain charm to it. I'm not gonna lie.
We have a lot more control over what happens, and then we can get more far out with the environments. If we want to fix something, or if the lighting's not right, or anything, we can change it all, right here, and not have to go back and rebuild anything and reshoot anything.
So they were able to add light to these characters, add a shadow here, add a little thing here, add a little thing here, and all on 96 megabytes of RAM, using some specially created software. and some
96
of it off the shelf.
megabytes.
First level, everything seems alright. It looks like you might get this little fun Star Fox type beat where yes, you can do a barrel roll, but in action, the controls are just terrible. In third-person mode, you don't have a reticle to aim, and the accuracy of your lasers is just putrid, coupled with the fact that you have very little to no maneuverability against this onslaught of TIE fighters. Prepare to end up watching the same death FMV over and over and over and over and over. You do have a first-person mode, which for me was the only way to really manage my way through these types of levels. But
16 times the mega flops.
Just so sluggish, and you just never get any sort of good accuracy with it. The next type of levels we get are these little FMV cover shooter ones, 10 years before that hack fraud Cliff Bleszinski stole Rebel Assault 2's secret formula for gears.
Yeah, so far so good.
Yep, here we are, 2 rebel spies in the heart of an Imperial command ship, surrounded by the Emperor's proudest.
Watching these actors stumble around in front of a bunch of blue screen backdrops is pretty charming and fun. Playing this, though, not really. Again, aiming with the D-pad to shoot these stormtroopers is just awful, and the whole thing has a super basic structure. You just wait. Wait.
It looks
you
awkward.
Wait, you line up your shot, wait, and then shoot again. Even with the flashiness of these live-action stormtroopers, can't save it from being a snooze fest. Apparently, you can use a light gun for these sections, and it worked alright enough. It was a neat novelty, but it just doesn't really make sense for this type of third-person setup. Like, you have to shoot off to the sides to take cover, and I got to this part where the game would not let me shoot at this stormtrooper. Like, no matter what I do, I just pop back into cover.
That stormtrooper's hacking.
Just go with a conventional first
Caught
person
hacking.
approach. You know, something like Area 51. Even with the D-pad
And all
controls, that would have probably been
16
way more
pixels
engaging
of
than
it.
just waiting behind cover for generations. We can be here all day. I don't care. I got Blue Harvest on PSP with me. I got nothing but time.
Oh, damn.
At least the death
Damn.
FMVs are neat. Poor fella didn't even get to see the part with the
All right,
couch.
see, now we
For
know
weeks,
that's
our
not.
intelligence has reported unusually high levels of Imperial fleet activity here in the vicinity of the planet Imdar and its moon. The command ship Terror is en route to Imdar. Well, it would like
Yo, is it me or is that fish talking to us right now? Next level has you steal a ship that looks exactly like the Millennium Falcon, but it's not the Millennium Falcon. It's the 1,000-year Quail. A piece of shit that you gotta fly through these on-rails FMV backdrops,
Nice.
and these sections are so bad. I would pay good money to see a no-damage run of this level because it's broken. For one, you're constantly being pulled downwards, so you gotta wrestle the controls against that, all while you're doing your best to dodge these gigantic hitboxes.
It
It's
looks
absolutely
janky.
miserable. The
Like,
last
I don't
gameplay
have
type
to
we
have the
here is
controller in
honestly
my
the only
hand
decent one.
to
And
know
that's these
this is good.
first-person
This would be
sections where you're also
janky as
using your
fuck.
reticle to ever so slightly maneuver your ship through these compressed quadrants of space while you shoot down enemies. There's one where you venture inside a battle station and have to blow up its shields with the FMV sequence basically repeating and flintstoning until you finally take out each one. That was a pretty cool idea, and they pulled it off well.
All right, now let's get out of here.
Yeah! Woohoo! I knew it was coming. Someone was gonna say a ye fucking ha. Always.
Also gotta say, I do love that they really embodied the spirit of the original trilogy by casting regular schmucks and LucasArts employees as the rebels here. Like, no fooling, I really like this guy that got to play the X-Wing leader. He's just like some guy they probably found working as a cashier at an Ace Hardware store. I love it. He has the energy of an old guy on YouTube that reviews 70s computer products. He's perfect to play a rebel pilot.
Nice.
Got a read
Nice.
on a large structure on one of the asteroids ahead. It looks like some kind of ore processing plant. Transferring coordinates from the nav computer.
No!
Ace!
Also, wait, his name was actually Ace? R.I.P. Ace Hardware. You're the best star pilot in the galaxy. And a good friend. There is an endearing charm to Rebel Assault 2, the way it thrusts you into familiar Star Wars set pieces and moments, all with a scrappy live-action fan film style. And sheesh, they even had the prequels beat with all that blue screen, but damn, as much as it pains me to say it, I admit you probably get more value just watching the cutscenes in a compilation than playing the actual game. And it's such a
Yeah.
surprise too, considering this port was developed
That's
by
kind of the
Factor
feeling I was
5,
getting.
who worked absolute magic with their LucasArts games on N64 and GameCube. So far we have 2 ports of PC titles, but how would the PS1 fare for its first fully original Star Wars game? Could this be the cinematic epic adventure the PlayStation hardware was clearly capable of delivering? Nope. Yep, it's Masters of Terras Kasi time. Terakasai, however you want to say it, this is the infamous Star Wars fighting game. For years, I've seen this one atop many worst Star Wars games of all time lists, so I was pretty prepared to face
I did
the
not know
worst
this
in
was a
there.
thing.
You're right, Stick. You will not need it. This game is boof.
And look, after playing so many Star Wars games, the opening crawl really starts to lose its luster. Like the first time you see
That's
it in
what
the video
is.
game, it's
Was
like,
it really
wow, it's
Tekken
just
3
like the
music? That's why
movie.
it sounded
Seeing it
familiar.
here, it's more like, wow, how dare you? And then when your fighting roster is a nightmare death stick rotation, what's the narrative here? You're throwing hands at everybody, backhanding as Boba Fett, fighting Chewbacca as Luke.
The Boba
that's like
Fett
my buddy.
bitch
I don't
slap.
want to fight Chewie.
Luke Skywalker versus Han Solo.
Oh, yes,
Fight.
you do get the Battle of the Heroes original trilogy version where you pit Han and Luke against each other.
Breaking my heart.
That's for kissing my sister.
That's for
Wow.
kissing your sister. Let's just get out of the way. There's Morgan Garden, Tusken Raider on the roster, and their names are and you got out of your system, right?
Wow.
Okay, then good, because we got work to do. I'm trying not to get my ass handed.
You lose.
Oh, wow. I guess Leia's more powerful than Luke now. They just have to make it Luke. Thanks, Disney, you. Masters of Terakasai, being a Star Wars arena fighter, lets you get pretty crafty with some of these characters and their combos. Sometimes you can get a decent fight going, other times the enemy AI will just off themselves.
Bring it. You win.
Easier than shooting womp rats back home.
I love how
That's
that's
the
still an
Jedi
argument
way,
to
I
this
guess.
day. Like Luke and Leia, like who's the strongest? Like they're both equally strong. They just have different interests, different styles. They're both badasses. They're also both badasses that are related and had a little smoochy smooch. You know, it's a soap opera drama in space, people. Let's stop it. Just stop. Enjoy it. I mean, would respect the source material, but whatever. Oh yeah, this is the kind of action we need in Star Wars movies these days. Right here.
You win.
Look at that.
I'd better be getting paid for this.
You know what? I don't think this game is as bad as it's made out to be. It's clunky, the AI can be whack, and the controls do have this kind of sluggish feel to them, but I think what's turned so many people off from the game probably
Enjoy it,
unintentionally
insist,
is that
understood.
it's
I
so
mean, I heard it's
combo-heavy.
popular
I'm
these
no fighting
days.
game expert, but generally fighting games
Not
at least
my
for
thing.
a couple of stages kind of let you button mash your way
Especially
through,
with,
let's be honest. Terakasai doesn't let you do that. If you don't know
My
the combos
family.
going
Just
in, you're
not-
screwed.
no.
If you do, you can
Not in
pull
my
off some pretty
fantasy
fun
category.
moves here. The timing on them is super generous too, and you do get a force meter that you build up to let you do these really cheap low blows, even against Vader himself.
Yeah, you can kind of tell this game is just kind of like a cash grab on the Star Wars name.
You lose.
All too easy.
I had a pretty decent time trying out these different characters. Vader, just like the Revenge of the Sith game, gets his Wet Dream Sith Lightning move, which is pretty dope. And straight from the pages of the Book of Boba Fett.
It's exactly
comes my
how it happened in the
favorite
movie, you
move,
guys.
Jetpack kick.
Bring it. You lose.
Jetpack, go, jetpack kick. Jetpack foot blast. Jetpack foot punch.
Bring it. You lose.
This is for Jay.
I think Bobo Fetty just wants to leave
Oh my
by
God,
that
it
point.
actually worked.
Boba. It's dead.
What the fuck?
I'm proud of you, son.
1999, just a few months after the film's release, we got Phantom Menace the video game. Finally, we get to play through the beginnings of the prequel era on PlayStation. Whereas the N64 got things like Star Wars Episode 1 Racer that coincided with the release of the film, only the PlayStation
I have
1
played
had the
that one.
opportunity to actually play through the events of the movie. Strange memory with this one, this was the last PS1 game I ever saw being sold at a GameStop. This was like in 2008, almost 10 years after the game's release, and no, they were definitely not selling PS1 games anymore. By this time, they were already phasing out GameCube and OG Xbox games. I walked in, this one
Yeah,
was just sitting on the shelf.
they fucking immediately
I don't know
regretted
why.
that
Was
shit.
this a joke? Were they actually trying to sell this? And somehow,
But they just
after all
now
this time,
fix
it's
that
finally
shit.
ended up in
GameStop,
my hands.
GameStop
The
is
last one
now
of
doing
revenge.
slightly better because they brought back some of the older games. Fucking
feeling served you
idiots.
well.
I can't.
As far as movie games go, even for this early era of 3D games, this is such a strange one.
Like, I
For
have
one, you're dealing with this slight
there's like a couple of handful of the games, the older games I got like from the PlayStation 2 era and Xbox 360. Like Like a bunch of them, I remember getting them at GameStop because GameStop was just getting rid of all the older games. They were not saving them for like a retro section or anything like that anymore. They were just going new, whatever's coming out now, that's it. And they would have these sales. And I remember going to a couple of them and got a lot of games now that were super cheap that were now individually cost like ranging from like $25 to $100 or so. And I got them for like super cheap because GameStop is what? Say it with me. Fucking damn. I can't with them. I can't with them. GameStop, you had it so good. And then you said, we're gonna just get rid of the main thing that made us so popular.
Slightly lower than bird's eye view angle where you control Obi-Wan at the very bottom of the screen. By 99, I feel like most developers generally had a sense of how to design 3D action games, especially if they include platforming that usually, do a riff on Tomb Raider. Here, this is a pretty unique approach, and even stranger, you also have things like dialogue options.
I must find a way to cut the door's power.
No! Don't touch the power generator!
He fell.
Captain, look!
He tripped.
Yeah, Phantom Menace the game kind of lets you bask in the moments of Phantom Menace the movie by letting you interact with so much in more ways than one. Like you could just kill
I love
all
like
the
how
men, women, and Gungan
they
children here
fucking
if
bob
you
their
wanted
heads
to.
every time they talk.
Very ugly, Outlander.
What?
He fell. The gameplay and the combat is super
Welcome
simple.
back,
Most Star
Yomi.
Wars games typically have you hold the block button with your lightsaber at just the precise moment to deflect attacks. Here I'm just holding square and Obi is still violently swinging, and honestly, my smooth brain kind of likes it. Between the simple combat and moving blocks and talking to random NPCs, this game kind of has a very lax vibe to it that I kind of enjoy. Like, it's not super engaging, it's pretty mediocre. Graphically, it feels like the PS1 polygons are being held together by Elmer's glue.
Ouch time!
This top-down design kind of gives this game this flimsy paper mache look to it, like a single sneeze will turn Obi-Wan into a bunch of meat cubes.
What the fuck? That's amazing.
Getting to kill everyone and everything while re-experiencing the events of Phantom Menace in an all-new butt-ugly way did prove to be pretty entertaining. PS1 boss is so fucking cool. Have you ever seen anything so bomb-bad and sexy? Also, the voice actor's just going ham. I love it.
Nabu think they so smart, the nonsense. They think they brain so big.
Dare I even try to strike down someone so almighty and powerful?
Oh my.
Try it.
In spirit, there's a lot of ideas in this game I like.
Oh fuck, that
In
hurt.
execution, there's a lot of really dumb and bafflingly bad shit about it. In other words, this couldn't be more perfectly fitting for an adaptation of Phantom Menace. I don't think a game has ever so concisely captured the essence of the movie it's based on such a meta level. This is like 1-to-1. It's also one of those games where the window for your double jump is limited to being immediately after your first input, which, like, as a Jedi, shouldn't this be like the one game where you should be allowed to double jump at any time in midair? I mean, you could kill Gungan kids all you want. Allegedly, he fell, but you can't double jump at your leisure? It's
Allegedly.
weird. The strict timing also makes the platforming here feel much more janky than it already is. Couple that with the overhead paper-thin design to these levels, it makes some of these environments really hard to kind of read. Like getting to explore the Gungan city, that's cool, but I was running around this place aimlessly till I realized that little Jarbel polygons over there is supposed to be an elevator switch. Oh, great. It's just not the best way to stage a game like this. You never really get a good sense of your environment, especially when the view blocks you from seeing enemies right in front of you. It's kind of weird too. It's almost like the game can't handle rendering the entire environment ahead of you. Like there's a few moments
it
where
looks
you
like
do
it's
get a
struggling.
conventional behind the back view and the game just chugs. It's almost like the entire game is designed around that GoldenEye trick where you aim at the floor to make the frame rate smoother. But even with all these annoyances, slowly Phantom Menace PS1 began to reveal itself. This game is just, it's too damn neat to hate. especially with how it expands on scenes kind of in a way that almost makes it better than the movie in some respects. Like in the Phantom Menace movie, you don't really get a sense of what exactly the invasion of Naboo is, what effects it's having on its people. They just kind of occupy an empty palace. In the game, though, you get to actually interact with its citizens. You see the damage the Trade Federation is inflicting on these people in a clear way, like helping an injured Naboo guard find some water, or helping a little boy find his mom.
Thank you. You have safely returned my son.
Here, I
But
don't.
that night as he slept,
Yep.
I saw
I knew it.
darkness in him. He would bring destruction and pain and death. And for the briefest moment of pure instinct, he fell. It's after this point really where the dialogue
I knew
options
it was
and
gonna
character
happen.
directions start to
I
really
knew
ramp
it.
up in a very cool way. Like next level has you exploring Mos Espa. There's very little combat here. It's mostly you interacting with townspeople, merchants, little slave boys, and drunk alien bastards. Even some of the dialogue options lets you try your hand at mind tricking people, and man, come on, that's so cool.
You don't need my money. You're sorry you've bothered me.
I don't need your money. I'm sorry I have bothered you. You again.
You will take credits for
fuck?
the T-14.
Stop at that. What? You think you're some kind of Jedi or something? Jedi mind tricks don't work on me. Only money.
A huge stretch of this level, you're just bartering with different salesmen and townsfolk to get the pod racer parts you need. I loved it.
Better stand back, mister, because I'm about to slash all my prices.
And I'm about to free all these slave boys.
Wow.
Now you can be whoever you want to be.
The cost of freedom.
I can't believe it. They all fell. Also, some of your
They all
conversation choices
fell.
will randomly be these gigantic
So many
blocks
people
of text,
falling
and you
in the
bet
Star
your ass
Wars
your character
universe.
will say that shit word for word. Oh, gee, Waddle, that's fine and dandy and all, but have you considered the fact that turmoil has engulfed the Galactic Republic and the taxation of trade routes outlying star systems is in dispute? It almost starts to feel more like an action RPG in that respects, and as a fan of the movie, hell yeah, I want to explore these places. I want to get to know these polygonal desert dwellers and their daily plight, or, you know, you could just wipe them all out until the entire city's going after you. Even the Jawas start acting like cops.
Oh no!
Man, Qui-Gon really died like a bitch, huh?
I have another job right now, but maybe we'll get together later.
Is he bothering you, milady? For all its clunky gameplay and weird design choices, it's not just the exploration and interaction with these places that make it great, it's the freedom. Oh, a child's being
I love how I
held
can literally
hostage and
just go on a
security
murder
door droid
spree
won't let you pass. That's okay.
as
Let's just
the
shimmy across
hero.
The clothesline, kill everybody, free him, and
We
rip the
love
ears
it.
off this Gundark looking thing. Most movie-based games expand on their source material in a very arbitrary or contrived way, but Phantom Menace the game expands on the film in a way that truly feels natural and fun and interesting. Even things like, oh, you gotta go see Anakin off at the pod race and place your bet with Watto, but oh no, the almighty PS1 Jabba wants to trap you to fight in a glorious arena for a sick, sluggy spectacle. It took over 20 years, but damn it, we finally have the technology to truly render Jabba the way George always wanted. Incredible. They really thought of everything. Everyone is here. Scribby, Bo Biggie Bunga.
Yeah, I missed out on a lot of Star Wars games growing up. Like, the racer one is the only one I can actually remember having.
It's okay,
One
had
of
to
the
hold
many
square
that it was
button
either
for a really
lost
long
or
time.
stolen.
There's plenty to love about Phantom Menace PS1, but you kind of have to appreciate it in spite of all its jank and bugginess. Like, oh, sorry Queen Amidala here was late for the meeting to discuss the slaughtering of her people. Milady was a little busy running into a corner for 3 hours.
Your Highness,
It's important
you're quite
work.
late. I was worried.
Yeah, a lot of the gameplay revolves around these escort missions, and thank God they don't actually have a health bar. They just kind of stagger, and they're so bad at following you where you need to go. You see, midway through this level, the queen is supposed to get
Fucking
kidnapped
hate
while you're
escort
doing this
missions.
block puzzle, but because Milady was a little busy, her NPC wasn't there to get kidnapped. So these gang members show up and blow up the bridge, and I gotta go rescue the queen, even though she's standing right there. And it's not like it broke the level or anything, but it does feel like at any moment this neat little game is just gonna fall apart. So after you leave Coruscant, the game does the funniest thing ever and just throws up another text crawl to explain to you the plot of the Phantom Menace. You can almost feel them desperately trying to explain just what the fuck is actually going on at this point.
Don't you get it? The taxation of trade routes to outlying star systems is in dispute, you fucking worm!
What the fuck did I just watch? What the?
This entire finale is pretty well done. Like the movie, you're switching back and forth between Padme storming the palace and Duel of the Fates, and my god, that top-down camera angle I've been shitting on this entire time, they do some cool stuff with it here. Like when you get separated as Obi-Wan, the duel between Maul and Qui-Gon continues in the foreground. That's such a clever and thoughtful use of this unique perspective.
Tell your sister you were right about the weird bird's eye view angle. That was cool as shit.
Phantom Menace may be plagued with design flaws and issues, but what other game can I stop mid-Duel of the Fate and have Obi-Wan fire a bazooka at Darth Maul? That's some Looney Tunes shit right there. Also, I remember reading about this game when I was really young and learning that you could kill Newt Gunray in this one, and that's like all I ever knew about it. Didn't even know what the game looked like, just knew at some point you get the kill with Gunray. And finally, 20 years later, I'm here.
I surrender.
That was the happiest moment of my life, wow. So,
10 out of 10.
I guess I kind of really like this game. The best parts, again, was just getting to immerse yourself in this thoughtful, expanded retelling of Phantom Menace. Interact with characters, kill all those characters, and just run around doing stupid shit and get into all sorts of mischief. They really tapped into something so flawed yet so special, which is quite an accomplishment, especially in the realm of movie tie-in games.
You should have killed him when you had a
Thank you, Qui-Gon.
So, what could be better than a PS1 retelling of the Phantom Menace? How about 2 PS1 retellings of the Phantom Menace?
Oh my god.
It's Jedi Power Battles time, or as most of us know it, that one game that the Walmart had a demo of at the PS1 kiosk to like 2005. I remember gazing up and being so bewildered to see yet another Nightmare Death Stick rotation with Plo Koon with a yellow lightsaber? What? Okay, also, why does she have a red one? That's the one rule? Oh, I'm sorry, Crimson? Oh, okay, alright, no, it's alright, guys, she's one of us. And of course, we have
Wait a minute.
purple lightsaber Mace.
Wait a minute.
I thought it was a pretty neat release to see the Jedi Council members brought
You
into
have
a more
Jedi Power
active
Battles?
role
Oh my
than just
god,
sitting in a
Yomi.
chair and bitching about an 8-year-old. But unlike the Phantom Menace game, this is more strictly a
I have
3D
never
sort of beat 'em
heard.
up, hacking your way through battle
Never
droids
heard.
as different Jedi
Never
with a variety
seen
of
these.
combos and special force powers. In theory, this really should be a straightforward and fun time. It should be, and it's not too bad until you get to the platforming.
I love
Could play it. That would have to be one where we'd have to like
But goddamn, is the platforming
where
in this
where
one
we'd have to
atrocious.
we would have to play it together because I would get I knew
course correct much in the fixed perspective.
I just know I would get frustrated a lot and I would literally have to throw the controller at you. I was like, be like, Yomi, I can't take it anymore.
Gauging distance is absolutely miserable. It quickly became clear to me that this game genuinely has malice in its heart. It's a surprisingly difficult Star Wars title, which could be fun. Like between each level you unlock more combos, and even with these the combat still feels so padded out. Like killing a battle droid shouldn't take this long. You should be able to mow these guys down like butter. What are we doing here? And there's this real lack of fluidity to it all. You have a lock on, but when you're being swarmed by enemies, it'd be nice to be able to continue your combos and do some crowd control. I know it came out years later, but I can't help but see the Revenge of the Sith movie game as a much more superior version of Power Battles, the way you're able to mow down and continue your combo to nearby enemies with ease. There's really no reason something like that couldn't have been implemented here. It's not like it was a limitation of the PS1 or anything, but it's something they specifically did by design, and it just makes the combat here feel like a chore. Especially having to replay entire sections and levels over and over again, it got to a point where it made more sense for me to just NFL blitz the shit. And if you don't have a decent crowd control move like Qui-Gon's special force power, you're kinda screwed. A lot of the platforming is not only awful, but they're designed with these really cheap sections where even enemies off screen will shoot at you mid-jump. And in a game with a live system, that's cruel, sir. Oh, look at this. This B1 battle droid has the high ground and I have the high blood pressure.
It's over, guy. I have the high ground.
Yeah, I know. And he's not firing at me, so I can't deflect a shot back at him. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna jump and he's gonna shoot me and I'm gonna die. And that's it. Anyone got a chance? Cube? Anyone? Anyone? Oh, look, he shot me. The less platforming in the level, the
Oh,
better.
yeah.
Like here on Theed, once again, you're
I would
saving
probably-
Queen Amidala's handmaidens, and you
I would
eventually
probably
get to a
also
section where you
need,
get to pilot an AAT. It just
at
turns
least a
into
little
quick game of
alcohol.
battle tanks all of a
If
sudden.
I'd
This
be
part,
forced to play
this
this.
kicked ass. But oh, what's this? Game over because I forgot to save one single handmaiden? And here I'm trying to wrap my head around what's the big deal, because they seem to all look alike and there's dozens of them. What's the big deal? They're just bodies. What's this game's damage,
Well.
man? I don't mind a good challenge, but now when the majority of it
Well,
comes
then.
from broken mechanics, clunky controls, and poor level design, even if they just got rid of the live system or let you save at the halfway point in a level, it'd be a little less insufferable, but damn, can they please at least get the queen to stop screaming hell the entire level?
Help! 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 Help!
Make it stop. In typical Phantom Menace game fashion, you of course take a detour to Tatooine, where you for some reason gotta kill a bunch of Tusken Raiders now with little Amy following you around. Oh gee, I hope this does not Force Awaken anything in you, little boy. Yeah, I fucked up. Your turn radius here too is so wide that sometimes your double jump will land on the edge of a platform and you'll immediately slip off trying to rebalance. Every little section with platforming just becomes this
Oh, yeah.
anxiety-inducing exercise.
This-
where at any point
this-
you know you're just gonna
this
slip
game
off or
looks
something
like-
off screen is gonna shoot you and make you fall to your
it
death.
would cause
Oh, we're on Coruscant now. Let me guess, we're gonna fight
alcohol
a bunch of
poisoning.
random gang members. Oh yes, we do. Not gonna lie, sliding down the rooftops of Coruscant and making a bunch of weak-minded Wawamba mercs fall to their deaths was pretty fun, was pretty cool. Like, there are fun moments like that. Like, again, when you return to Naboo, Donkey Kong Country, the animated series, Liam Neeson gets the bright idea to hijack a speeder. And you get this pretty nice change of pace of a level where you're mowing down as many battle droids as you can on the way to the palace. That was kind of cool. There's moments where Jedi power battles ain't so bad, and sometimes the challenge could actually be pretty fun. That is until every goddamn corner of the galaxy is trying to murk you. Cockroaches, trees, knee-high puddles of water, armies of Gungans, liquid boss and ass. Even when you try to pace yourself through these levels, you still just get bombarded, and it doesn't really feel like an authentic challenge. Like here I am at the Duel of the Fates, and still this game is forcing me through these awful platforming sections. When you actually do get to fight Maul, goddamn, every single hit I landed on him felt so cathartic. I wanted to make them pay. Beating him is actually pretty easy, but what's weird is you can't slice him in half and
taking
make
that
him fall down
lightsaber
the
and using it
hole.
like a
Like,
fucking
even when I try to
baseball
knock
bat.
him back, he just jumped back up. What the heck? The game even pans down the shaft, and like I half expected his body to just like flop down right there. What's cool is if you do beat the game with Qui-Gon like I did, you do get to unlock Darth Maul. And you know what? It's awesome. I don't even care that he's not even using his dual blades. It's so fun to play as Maul here.
Damn.
Which just, it makes the hate I have for this game so much sadder. Because as cool as it is, it doesn't save you from the god-awful platforming. So like, why did I play through the entirety of a game that single-handedly gave me chronic heart palpitations? I don't know. It's like, part of me did enjoy the challenge the game posed when it was by design. There's no real get good with power battles because at the end of the day, you get dick. Nobody wins, not even Sabu. It's just pain, and I guess in some way, I'm kind of a sucker for it. And for the last Star Wars title to grace the glorious PS1, we got a bit of an oddball release that you don't often see mentioned, Star Wars Demolition. Come on, look at that. Is there any better way to close out the saga PS1 Star Wars game
I've
than this
never heard
marriage
of
the
this.
original and prequel era? Were you Boba Fett fighting a battle droid on the cover with a Rancor? But okay, after so many opening
I've
crawls,
never
we
heard
really
of
need
this.
one for Demolition. Like, what are we even doing here? I get it. Boba Fett versus battle droid versus Rancor. Move on already. But I guess this one actually has a story behind it. See, fat glorious PS1 Jabba
Just
the
Twisted
Hutt has
Metal.
put
Okay,
on a
I've
blood sport for the galaxy's
played
most
Twisted Metal.
nefarious
I
and
love
cunning
Twisted
warriors
Metal.
to compete for credits. Not only is it metal, but it's twisted. Developed
Yeah.
by the same team behind the Vigilante 8 games. And yeah, this is meant to be a vehicular arena fighter. And honestly, it's kind of admirable that they put, you know, so much thought into contextualizing this. Tell your sister I was wrong about that too. That's actually cool as shit. Like the B1 battle droid could have just been a, you know, a playable battle droid for no reason. But no, it's a Jawa with a remote control. And according to Wikipedia, it's that specific one from Return of the Jedi, okay? You got a
Wow.
Rancor, a Snow Speeder, or a Sing, my man Lobot. And get this, Sabuba's grandson in a pod racer. It's all your favorite glup shittos, and it's incredible. The arenas here are all pretty familiar locales with you just eviscerating each other in these extremely chaotic battles on places like Hoth, the Death Star 2, Dagobah? Oh, poor Yoda.
Just trying to take a fucking nap. Leave me alone.
Fuck up out there, rest I must. In some games, you got some fun little wild card obstacles and death traps
Naps
in the
are
arenas.
sacred.
Like Yavin 4 just has this big giant ball of gold that you can roll down the temple to crush everyone behind you. The Dune Sea of Tatooine has a Sarlacc pit where you can get put in all too familiar predicament. Now he can go become Star Wars the Book of Boba Fett.
Boba, have you lost your head? I know a thing or two about that, Boba.
Each arena has a bunch of power-ups and weapons you can charge up to unleash these really powerful attacks, especially coupled with each character's unique special. It can lead to some pretty OP and cheap moments, like the tractor beam here is just insanely OP. You also have these recharge stations for your ammo and shields, with arenas like Mos Eisley constantly moving them around into different spaceports. That was a pretty fun gimmick. Your reward for each tournament is a neat little cutscene like Boba getting wasted with Jabba. Some of these can get pretty insane and dark. Especially the cutscenes for losing a tournament, like these twin rebel snowspeeder pilots end up getting trapped as Jabba's slaves. Poor little Pugwist gets dragged by his pod racer into a Sarlacc pit. But the more tournaments you win, the more characters you unlock. Like eventually, yes, you get Darth Maul. I love this era of gaming where one of your final unlockables is just Darth Maul because he's so cool. And here he is just unstoppable, practically a win button, as you can almost insta-kill enemies by jousting them with your dual-wield blades. There's just something so admirable about the way Demolition tries to merge all these characters and vehicles from both Phantom Menace and the original trilogy on this crazy arena game. And as far as original Star Wars PS1 games go, they went out with a bang here, because I do think Demolition is a real fun time. Well, those games were alright, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty hit or miss. We're back to the action figures.
Oh, Dash Rendar, no way! And he's even got the expansion pack.
Not the expansion pack. Oh my god, those games have seen some shit.
Here we go again.
Oh my god. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Huh. Yeah, I honestly had no idea about a lot of those Star Wars games. Like I've heard of some, seen some, especially the popular ones. Like even if you're not a Star Wars fan or even play video games, you'll probably recognize like some of the most popular ones. But yeah, those a lot of those I never heard of, don't remember seeing. It's just wild the games that literally were not on my radar.